Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast, No More Excuses. I am your host, Sandy Ballard, the Badass Business Coach. As always, thanks for being here, for listening, for sharing the podcast with others, and most importantly, investing in you. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow me, friend me, connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and my Facebook business page is Badass Business Coach. And where else? Oh, Instagram. Yes. All right. So thanks again for, like I said, investing in you and for dreaming bigger, letting me help you dream bigger, right? Last Monday's podcast was about that, dreaming bigger and thinking about what you would do if money was no object and if fear did not exist. So what did you come up with? What do you think you would want to do or do more of? You know, in last Monday's podcast, I also shared my bigger dream. It was one I actually tried to make happen years ago and it didn't get the funding and had sort of forgotten about it. I still have the folder. I found it. I dusted it off when I dusted off the old idea. And so by working on the podcast for you and asking you to dream bigger, it helped me remember that past dream. And I realized I don't want to give up on that. So no, I didn't add it to my 2022 goals because that would be silly, but and also distracting. But I definitely dusted off the idea, and it's now resurfaced, and sort of re-energized me, right? So what do you really want to do, but have felt it's not possible due to fear or lack of resources? You know, how does this affect what you're currently doing, whatever your big dream is? I don't want it to distract you. Like I said, if I dusted mine off completely and said, I'm going for it, I would have to drop all the things I'm doing now. I don't want it to distract me, and don't want it to distract you. I want it to motivate you. I want you to think about it so you realize you have bigger dreams and you can do bigger things. We all can do a little more, can't we? I could drop everything and focus on that dream, but I know I can't right now. I pulled myself back in and was like, nope, it's okay. It's exciting to think about it. And perhaps I've even daydreamed a little about it and made some notes. Like I said, I found that file folder. It's sort of a rejuvenation. And it is definitely motivation. It is a small reminder that there's more out there that can be done. So, whatever you said you do doesn't have to be anything completely different. I mean, the co-working mastermind group wouldn't be completely different because there would be coaching, but it would be a lot different than what I do now, which is coaching and speaking and team building. So it doesn't have to be completely different. It could be adding more to what you currently have. The whole point of this is to really just get you excited and motivated. It could actually be to start a business, or it could be merely to take your side gig to the next level. It could be adding staff or expanding your products or services. It could be increasing income or selling, like I want to when this fourth book comes out, selling more books than the previous one. If that's the case, then you need to focus on it now. If you're just adding to it a little more, if you're saying, okay, I want to, by the end of this year, increase my income 20%, right? If you want to say double, cool. But you're going to really have to figure out how, right? The last couple of years have been so tumultuous, yeah, for many of us. And it's caused us to get off track, slow down a little bit, and perhaps just kind of be stuck in a rut of existing. Sometimes you're just going with the flow. And there's other people who are just like, just wake up, do what I need to get done, go to bed, rinse, repeat, right? You're just going along with life. So now it's time to rejuvenate your life in business or career and make sure you're chasing the right dreams and that they're big enough, right? I want you to play bigger. Years ago, I was told by two different people, similar times, right around the same time, but two different people at two different times, separately, so that I was playing too small. And I really wasn't sure what they meant, or what I needed to do to play bigger. But what I did know is that it resonated with me. And here I had two different people at two different times telling me the same thing. Sandy, you're playing too small. You need to play bigger. I was like, all right, yeah, I've been feeling frustrated and like there was more out there for me to do and achieve. I just had to think about it and figure it out. I was sort of just floating along. I was achieving goals, but I realized after talking with them and my friends and colleagues that my goals weren't big enough. It doesn't mean that you aren't, but it doesn't hurt to check and see, are your goals really big enough? They always say they should scare the shit out of you just a little bit. Dreaming bigger, playing bigger is like helping you amplify your life. Over the years, I've talked about digging deeper to play bigger. I learned that concept and that phrase from my coaching professor while getting my certification. And I love it. And now I want you to dream bigger, to gain the motivation and excitement. And, you want to dig deeper. I want you to want all that so you can dig a little deeper and play bigger. So how can you take what you're wanting to achieve now and double it or triple it? And Dr. Benjamin Hardy, if you're familiar with him, if not, check him out. He talks a lot about don't just 2x your life, 10x your life. And that's huge. It's like if all of a sudden you said, how am I going to multiply my income by 10 times? Well, he explains that, if the bigger you go, it helps you see just the big picture. You focus on the big picture instead of getting caught up in the weeds, getting caught up in the little things. 80% of your results should come from 20% of your effort. And I kind of like that. We've also heard that saying that 80% of our business comes from 20% of our clients. But where we lose money in the end is we spend 80% of our time on the clients who only bring us 20% of the income. I'm not saying they're bad clients or they don't deserve your attention, but if your customer base or niche market in general doesn't align with your goals, and it's not going to help you grow. So looking at that, doing a review of your client base, customer base, all that it's a good time, right? Make sure what you're doing are the right things. He's also said, I just told a client this, repeated this to a client, that we tend to do the important thing, or no, we tend to not do the important things. We focus on the emergencies versus the important things. And so you think about that, right? So thinking about also the client base. So how can you play bigger if you're getting bogged down with the wrong clientele? How can you play bigger if you're spending 80% of your time on the tasks that will only produce 20% of your results? So ask yourself, are you ready to play bigger? If so, how? Comment here, DM me, direct message, or email me, sandy@sandyballard.com, and let's talk about it, or at least share how you're going to play bigger. And if you can't figure it out, obviously, contact me. Let's schedule a session so we can get you focused on the right tools, the right tasks, the right client base, so you can dig deeper to play bigger. All right? We got 5.5 more months left in the year. Let's do this. Cheers.